government shutdowns, discharge petition, and Martina Navratilova.
You're going to have to spell that last one for me. Shaken Babies, AI in video games, and Taylor Swift. Welcome to Downsampled News. Hello and welcome to Downsampled News. My name is Beelock and I'm here with my father,
Richie Bee.
And it's as if we're related. We're back. It's been a few months since we recorded. The end of 2025 was just very busy, primarily for me. Some of us don't have jobs anymore. Just saying. He retired. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm enjoying myself quite a bit.
Yes.
Starting my new career as a podcaster.
Yes, absolutely. So we are recording this at the beginning of January. We should be back to our monthly schedule after this. Right. Just FYI, we're not going to talk about Venezuela.
What?
Yeah, we scheduled this recording before Venezuela happened, so we had our topics already chosen. Right. And we don't really know what's happening in Venezuela yet, so we'll leave that to
possibly covered in the future.
Yeah. So where are we starting with, though? You said something about government shutdown.
Right. So my first topic is government shutdowns. Now, as you might recall, there was a very long government shutdown at the end of last year.
Yes.
And it was, in fact, the longest shutdown on record.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I want to talk about is just a little bit about history and why there are government shutdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, the idea is that the Congress, specifically the House, comes up with a budget for a year, mm-hmm. and which fiscal year I think usually ends in September. So they have to pass appropriations, meaning whatever money will be spent on whatever agencies and programs and whatnot. And if they don't agree on it by September, there is no budget. The question is what should happen, right? Mm-hmm. And until about 1980, nothing much happened. People just continue working as though the budget was as it was until then.
Oh, interesting. So they sort of treated it as if it was just an unchanged from before.
Right.
Okay.
But in 1980, when the president was Jimmy Carter, and he got sick of the Congress not doing anything, mm-hmm. so he had his attorney general, whose name was Civiletti, who looked at the law and the Constitution and the budgets, and he said, if you don't pass the budget, the government has to shut down. Mm. And they said, okay. And so since then we had, if the budget was not passed, the government would shut down. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a kind of clean option that they can do, so rather than automatically extending the previous budget, there's this continuing resolution. Remember we talked about that when we first started? Mm-hmm. So the Congress can say, okay, we can't agree on the budget for next year, but let's just pass a law that said everything stays at the level it was until now. That's called continuing resolution, and for some, pass it for a couple of months or something until we figure out what the budget is. Mm-hmm. Right? And what happened this time around, September came around, and there was no budget passed, right? Mm-hmm. And Republicans came up with, continuing resolution, kind of clean one that just said whatever things were, that's how they're going to stay. Remember the Big Beautiful Bill?
Oh, well, of course we remember the Big Beautiful Bill. So, who could forget the Big Beautiful Bill?
So one of the things that the Republicans did in the Big Beautiful Bill, that they extended tax cuts that were passed under Trump 1, and they were scheduled to expire. Mm-hmm. But there were some subsidies added to health insurance on the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, on the exchanges, mm-hmm. that were passed during Biden, and they were also set to expire at the end of 2025. So while Republicans extended the tax cuts, they forgot to extend the...
It slipped their minds. How are they supposed to keep track of all these things?
And what happened was Democrats said, look, we're not going to vote for anything unless we continue these subsidies. Otherwise, people's insurance premiums are going to go up. Now, this only affects a portion of Americans, rather large. It's a couple of million people who buy the insurance on the exchanges, the AC exchanges.
So wait, is it a couple of million poor people? Is that who we're affecting primarily?
This is people who don't get insurance from the job. So if you're running a small business, let's say, or you work for a small business that doesn't provide insurance, you can go there and a musician or an artist, let's say,
a podcaster, let's
say. So Democrats said, no, we're not going to vote for this unless you extend these subsidies. And Republicans said, nah.
Yep.
And so the clean resolution, the continuing resolution passed in the House because the Republicans have majority. But when it got to the Senate, there's these filibuster rules, which could be ignored, which could be gotten rid of. But Republicans said, fine, you're not going to vote with us. They couldn't pass it. They got like 50 votes or 51 votes maybe. And so the government shut down.
Yes, it did.
And it turned out to be like the longest government shutdown to date. Previous one also being during the previous Trump administration.
Yes.
The difficult thing about this one was that Republicans did not want to negotiate at all. So, in fact, House just went on vacation. So the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, said, "We're not doing anything. Let's just leave." So they didn't negotiate and stuff. Now, undercurrent under all this was this discharge petition, which I'll talk about a little later, which had to do with Epstein files.
Yes.
So, but anyway, so eventually Democrats finally, after about a month or so, they finally decided, well, look, there's all these people who are not working. Your federal government employees weren't getting paid. They either had to work with no pay, like air traffic controllers, for example.
Yeah.
So you really want somebody who's kind of pissed off and tired and worried about stuff, doing really stressful job controlling airplanes. Right?
Yeah.
And Democrats finally gave in, saying, look, we will sign to this continuing resolution, which actually expires at the end of January this month.
Oh, boy. Okay.
And you promise us there will be a vote on the extension of the subsidies in the Senate.
Right. Wasn't it like the promise was like they promised they'll talk about this?
They promised they will actually schedule a vote and have a vote.
Okay.
And so it turned out that they did have the vote, and it failed.
Yeah.
So the proposal that Democrats put out, which was just extend the subsidies for like next 3 years, failed. Republicans proposed something slightly different. That failed, and the administration talks about having a wonderful health plan in 2 weeks.
Just 2 weeks. We're gonna get it. He's getting it to us.
And basically, Republicans said nothing.
Yeah.
Part of the reason is because the Obamacare or ACA is essentially modeled on a program that was designed by the Heritage Foundation, which was a very conservative think tank. And we can talk about them some other time because there's some really interesting stuff going on over there. So it's interesting what's going to happen. I think when I talk about my discharge petitions, it's all related to what happened here. But so anyway, so that's the thing with the shutdowns.
Yeah, and I remember at the time the internet's reaction from the part of the internet that I'm on, which is the very liberal part of the internet. The youths, myself included, were very upset that the Democrats gave in without really gaining anything, because it's like we stuck it out for so long and ultimately got nothing. Right.
So the what you got is a kind of public opinion victory, because it brought to the forefront this whole issue of subsidies, and the question is, how much pain do you want to inflict on people? So there are people who are going to get evicted from the homes because they couldn't pay rent or mortgages and stuff. So that's why Democrats gave in.
Some Democrats, not most. There was just there was barely enough.
Well, there was enough so that they passed but the resolution expires and then in January, so the fight is coming.
Okay, interesting. So maybe we could do something again about it.
But again, we'll talk about discharge petition. But now it's your turn.
So my first topic is all about how to shake your babies. No, it's that is a joke. Don't shake your babies. But an update on the shaken baby stuff. I think we talked about this a few months ago, earlier in the fall. We talked about.
I think in the last episode we talked about it, didn't we?
Was it the last one? Oh man, it's been a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, well I have an update. Defense won. Yay! So as we talked about in our last one, it's excellent, most excellent outcome. So we talked about two cases in the last episode where we mentioned this. There's the Nieves case, which is the one here in New Jersey, and then there was the case in Texas with the man who was actually on death row, who's no longer on death row. His case was sent back to the trial court for a new hearing and a new trial. He's been in prison awaiting execution for like 20 years or something like that. That case is like totally crazy. But the Nieves decision came down November 20th from the New Jersey Supreme Court. It's a public decision. You can look for it. Maybe I can find a link and put it in the show notes so people can see it if they want. I thought it was very clearly written and very well written. And basically, the New Jersey Supreme Court said shaking has not been shown to cause these symptoms. You have not proved this. The state, the government, you have not proven this. And they did it in a really interesting way, because the Nieves case really focused on biomechanics, which I think we talked about a bit before, which is the study of how physics affects your body and like how injury is caused. And the thing about biomechanics is there have been plenty of biomechanical studies about shaking of all different kinds, shaking by humans, shaking in machines, like all different kinds of shaking. And biomechanics has consistently not been able to show that shaking without impact causes these particular symptoms. So the state's like prosecution's response to that argument for years has just been, well, you know, biomechanics has nothing to do with this. You don't have to talk about it. Like, they're not pediatricians. Pay no attention to the biomechanics behind the curtain. That's been more or less their position. The New Jersey Supreme Court was pretty savage in its decision, because it's literally like, it went back to the history of shaken baby syndrome, and the core of shaken baby syndrome, where it started because of biomechanical studies. And the court was like, how can you possibly stand before us now and say to ignore biomechanics when you used biomechanics as a foundation and it turned out to be wrong? So it was a, how many justices are there on the New Jersey Supreme Court? It was 6-1. So 6 justices said, no dice, not a good science. We're siding with defense. 1 justice dissented. I was surprised by her dissent because she's a very intelligent woman, and she just did not understand like what was going on. But the rest of the justices did. So what that means is that within the state of New Jersey, prosecutions can no longer pursue, like, they can't use shaken baby syndrome or abusive head trauma that is shaking related as like a mechanism of injury to prosecute someone for a crime. So it's like a very specific, very narrow area of cases, but they can't do that. There's a potential effect on other states, because once one state does it, other states can start pointing. Now, New Jersey tends to be a leader in these kind of cases. We have quite a number of things where our Supreme Court has held science to a much higher standard than other states. This is not the first one. There's another case called JLG, where we're one of like 2 states that rejects what's called CSAAS, Child Sexual Abuse Accommodation Syndrome, which is a bullshit thing.
Okay.
It's like New Jersey and like Alaska have rejected it or something like that. Everyone else still accepts it, but it's part of the like slowly changing tide. So it's very exciting. Everyone should read the decision. It's a good movement of the law towards holding science to a high standard in the courtroom and making sure people aren't wrongfully prosecuted. And the guy in the Nieves case is now, finally, he can, release. Yeah, well, he can, here in New Jersey, in Nieves, he can just relax that he's not going to be prosecuted for something he didn't do. And also his son is like, gosh, that kid must be like 7 or 8 years old at this point. And he's fine, perfectly fine. The child is not injured. I know a lot of the attorneys involved in the case, and they did remarkable work on it. And so that's not just them. It was many decades of people pushing, doctors, scientists, lawyers, pushing, around the world even on these cases. So this is, the culmination of a lot of work of a lot of people. And it's nice to see the legal community come together and do that. So shake your baby. No, don't shake your baby. Don't shake your babies. They won't get shaken baby syndrome, but it's probably a bad idea. Okay, so you promised me discharge petitions.
Discharge petitions.
I
So do you know?
I can't wait.
Do you know what the discharge
I
petition
have no
is?
idea.
Okay. So, again, for some reason, I'm fascinated by the way the Congress works. It's
I'm glad you have a
failure
hobby.
of mine. So normally what happens in Congress is the party that is in majority elects a speaker who's in charge of the House. Mm-hmm. And essentially he controls what kind of stuff can come up for a vote. Mm-hmm. So if he doesn't like some bill or something, he decides not to bring it up for a vote, nobody votes on it.
Right.
And so people working in the House realized that sometimes the speaker is kind of potentially wrong. So they came up with the process in 1910 called a discharge petition. So if they can get a whole bunch of members of the House sign on a petition saying, we want to vote on this such and such. Mm-hmm. Initially, they needed 140 signatures, but now it has to be majority, which is 218. Mm-hmm. So if that many people sign the petition, House members, then whatever it is they want to come up for a vote comes up for a vote, mm-hmm. regardless of what the speaker wants.
Okay.
And those things were fairly rare until last quarter.
Weird. I wonder why.
So there were 4 discharge petitions.
4?
4. Some resulted in votes, some rule changes. So the very first discharge petition that happened, I think it was September, October, like that, last year, was that they wanted to allow proxy voting for House members who have given birth. Mm-hmm. So in other words, if you're a House member who could give birth, mm-hmm. You might be out
for some time, yes.
For a couple of weeks, let's say, and you want to be able to vote, so you basically designate a proxy and somebody votes on your behalf. Mm-hmm. And the House leadership was opposed to that.
Shocked. Amazed.
So they got enough signatures. See the right how many? They got enough signatures to pass it as a bill, but before the vote came up, the House leadership just changed their mind. They changed the rules, saying, "Yeah, okay, fine." So the second one you probably heard about is the Epstein files thing.
Yes.
Right. So what happened was, some people want to force the Justice Department and Trump administration to release the Epstein files, all of them. Mm-hmm. And the funny part was this was like a campaign promise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then when Trump became president, they were trying to fake it. So there was, I don't know if you remember, there was an event early on at the White House where they had some right-wing influencers who went to the White House, got the folders.
They got the
with
folders,
the
yeah.
And basically what was in the folders was all whatever was already known.
Yeah.
Then, of course, Pam Bondi, then it was Elon Musk when he got mad at Trump, when mm-hmm. he got thrown out of the White House. He tweeted,
he excreted.
That's good.
That's from David Pakman's podcast. He always calls it excretion. So I'll give my props where it's got to go. What wasn't me? It's David Pakman.
Okay, that's good. He said, Trump is all over the Epstein files. And then Pam Bondi stepped in and she totally messed it all up. She said, I have the list of the clients on my desk and I'm reviewing it. Mm-hmm. And then about a week later, they issued a memo saying, we reviewed all the files, there's nothing there.
Yep. Yeah, trust us, it's fine.
So many people got upset. Mm-hmm. And they in the House, they wanted to pass a bill saying, yes, you have to release this stuff. And naturally, leadership, Mike Johnson would not bring up for a vote. Mm. So Democrats put together a discharge petition. They got 270 signatures because 3 were Republican women in the House signed on. I think it was 3 women and 1 man. So 4 Republicans signed on, so they had 217. Mm-hmm. And there was a member of the House, a Democrat, who passed away from Arizona. I think maybe during the summer. They had a special election, and his daughter was elected.
Oh, I didn't realize it was his daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
And she was going to join the House, but it was during the shutdown.
Right.
So Mike Johnson decided that he was not going to swear her in. So he kept delaying, and she finally got sworn in once the government reopened. So once she got sworn in, she signed on to the petition, and they got the vote on the bill. The bill passed. By then it was such a brouhaha in the news that Trump said, "Yeah, go ahead, vote for it. I don't care."
Yeah.
And so, of course, all the Republicans voted for it, both in the House and the Senate. And there was a deadline that was missed, and the Justice Department keeps finding more files. It's hysterical.
They just found like another 1 million pages or something like that.
5 million or something. Whatever. It's getting very silly. Anyway, but that was a discharge petition to force a vote.
Okay, so that was the second one.
So that's second. So third one, when one of the executive orders issued by the White House was to disallow federal employees to have unions.
Okay.
And they could have unions, but they couldn't do collective bargaining. Right? So, and this this anti-union thing for federal employees goes way back. Back in the, as you remember, during the Reagan presidency.
Yeah. Oh, that's hard. That was really politically involved then.
The air traffic controllers went on strike. The union went on strike, and Reagan fired them all.
I actually have heard about this. Yes.
Yeah. It was a very strange time to be a pilot. I think I wasn't a pilot yet. But so there's been quite a bit of anti-union stuff, sentiments and actions on the right side. Anyway, so Trump put a executive order stripping the bargaining rights from federal workers. So they wanted to restore them. So they created a discharge petition and saying to pass a bill to restore bargaining rights to federal workers, make it a law. And it passed with 231 votes. So a number of Republicans voted for it. So that was passed. And then, so that's 3.
That's 3. But since September? This is 3 since September? Yep. Jesus Christ.
Number 4.
But wait, there's more.
So remember we talked about the ACA subsidies?
Yes.
Well, they created a discharge petition to force a vote on extending the ACA subsidies in the House. The discharge petition got enough signatures that the vote will happen, and the vote should happen, this month in the House.
So they're taking another stab at extending them. Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. The indication is, when this happens, is that the leadership of the House is basically kind of lost because nobody's listening to them anymore, and they're going against the grain. They're trying to prevent stuff from happening that majority of the people want to happen.
Right.
So we'll see what happens.
Interesting.
So
do you know the last time it happened before those 4? Were there any under Biden? Or?
I don't think so, but I mean, there were a bunch of them.
But they're relatively rare, so to have so many all at once.
I think there's this movie Legally Blonde.
Yes, I'm aware of Legally Blonde.
I think part of the plot in that movie is creating a discharge petition and getting all the signatures for it.
In Legally Blonde? I
thought it was.
Oh man, now they're gonna know I haven't watched it in a long time. Now all my street cred as a lawyer is gone. Now I don't know all the things about Legally Blonde. Usage.
Between 1931 and 2003, there were 563 discharge petitions filed, of which only 47 obtained the required signatures.
Oh wow.
Right. So
we've had 4.
In like a quarter.
That all got enough signatures.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
So.
That's crazy. Well.
Anyway, so.
Who would have thought that they wouldn't be good at governing? Shocked. Shock and awe. Okay, so my next topic is something totally new for us, which is AI.
I?
Magic beans. So you might be aware of this, Father. I play a lot of video games.
I noticed.
Play a lot of video games. There's a new game that just came out recently called Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Okay. So we refer to it as Expedition 33, or Clair Obscur, either one's fine. It is made by a French company called Sandfall. That's like an indie company. It's like the first real game they've produced. And it's awesome. It's got a really cool plot. I think I was telling you a bit about the paintress that... Anyway, it's got a really cool plot. It's like a really cool science fiction concept. It's a turn-based RPG. Like stunning, visually stunning, but creatively interesting. And I actually just beat it recently. So plot, fantastic, strong, recommend. It's on the PS5. I'm sure it's on other systems and platforms as well. So there are various game awards throughout the year. And this is, we have to be specific. There's like the game awards is sort of its own thing. Clair Obscur won Game of the Year at the Game Awards. That remains. But Clair Obscur originally won Game of the Year at the Indie Game Awards. And then shortly thereafter, the Indie Game Awards retracted that award because they said the game used generative AI. And they have a hard stance against generative AI. So the internet exploded because everyone's like, where was the where was it? Because like people don't want to play things that are generative AI. We're like, oh my God, how much of it was generative AI? So very quickly we got to the bottom of this because it was not a secret that they had used generative AI in the production process because the people at Sandfall had given interviews where they talked about it. Now, the production of Clair Obscur started before generative AI was really a thing. And basically what Sandfall said was, yeah, when generative AI came into the field in like 2022, in the pre-production process, we tried it out for like fillers. So they said when AI first came out in 2022, we'd already started the game. It was just a new tool. We tried it. We didn't like it. It felt wrong. And then they used the AI specifically to cover up textures that the studio had missed, but it was a very brief use. And then they replaced those AI textures with other things. So what it turned out to be was that their use of AI in the production process was to fill in like a few posters in the beginning of the game that they later then put in real art for. They didn't leave it in. When the game first launched, this is important, when the game first launched, there was like one poster or whatever that was still clearly AI that they patched right away, like within 5 days. They patched it. So this is a really interesting, I think, AI question because 99.999% of this game is all human made. And they did the whole the face things where they get like actors to be the face models and the voice actors and the writing and the graphics and the programming, all 99.99999% of it human made. And they admitted that they said it beforehand, they admitted that they used a generative AI for some textures in pre-production that then did not make it into the final product. It wasn't like they were using it to make a shortcut to get to the final product. It was just a placeholder. And it seems like, so initially there was this backlash where people were like, oh my God, they used AI. I can't believe the AI they used, whatever. Then once we kind of honed down on what it was and how minor it was, it seems like most people are, like, I'd say like 70% of people are on the like, this is dumb side. I was wondering, you and I have been talking about AI a number of times. So I was wondering, what do you think about, should like the award show says, the Indie Game Awards is like no AI whatsoever, even in pre-production. Like, is it?
Well, I mean, are they going to say you can't use any software, like if you use Photoshop?
I don't know.
To fill in some background, textures, Or clearly it's a computer game, so there's lots of software being used to make it, right? And so AI is just not a bunch of software. Now, this is kind of, from what I understand, how people use some of this stuff. It's very typical to use it for like brainstorming, let's say. So I was talking, I think I told you, I talked to this person who's a graphics designer at the publisher. And what she said is that she would, if she wants to present something to a client for potentials, let's say for a book cover, she would use generative AI to generate some examples, possible like directions that you could go and show it to the client. And if she had to do it by hand, she could do 5. With AI, she can do 30. You know, but when she makes the final product, she does it herself, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think there's even one of the articles has a picture of the poster. So this was it, and I'll pop a picture up here. This was the poster. It was like somewhere in the beginning of the game that was like clearly just like it was a filler,
right?
And that was it. That was like the texture. And people found it like right away, and then they fixed it, and that was it. So I don't know. It seems a little silly to. I understand like wanting to have a rule where like we don't want to encourage the use of generative AI, but I do think there needs to be. I don't know that a hard and fast like black and white rule is the right kind of rule.
Right. So there's a book coming out by Cory Doctorow who will explore this stuff.
Oh yeah.
And he talks about a centaur and a reverse centaur.
Okay.
You know what a centaur is?
Yeah, so the bottom half is a horse, the top half is a human.
Right. So in a centaur, the human is in charge. And centaur, is like a tool that allows you to do a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So if AI acts like if you're a centaur, so you just you're using a tool that's AI that helps you to run faster or make things faster. The reverse centaur is where the AI is in control of you. So like if you put Amazon driver and there's an app on the phone that tells you exactly where to go and what to do and when to pee and whatever, that's bad, right? So it's not the AI itself. We're going back to this idea. AI is it's a tool and can be used one way or the other. The other kind of interesting example, analogy that I read in a book recently by a guy named Tim Wu, where he said, is AI going to be like a plow or like a cotton gin? So a plow, when plows were invented, they enabled individual farmers to grow more food and it was a tool for them, right? And they prospered. Cotton gin instead was for the rich people to process cotton quickly, eliminate jobs, and just have everybody, encourage you to have more slaves so you can pick cotton and process it quickly. So that's the kind of thing. I think in this case, people, overreacting. Clearly, the AI was just used to help the game designers. Do you want to pay more for games or pay less for games? Do you want games to take longer to develop or less?
But it doesn't even seem like they even really used it that much to help.
Right.
They the thing about this is because it seems it is that they just used they used AI to make an image as a filler that they then went and replaced with their own image later. I think they could have just they could have used like a picture from the internet to do that, and it would have been the same thing. And so it's like in this case, the use of the generative AI didn't generate anything. It didn't do graphics. It didn't do gameplay. It didn't do writing or anything like that. It just was like literally a placeholder. They also mentioned something called Unreal Engine. I don't know what that is, but you said you did.
Unreal Engine is just a piece of software that is kind of central to driving the game. So basically, it provides tools for you when you're writing a game. Say, you move this person here, or display that, or shoot the gun or something.
Okay, because there was some talk too, and I wasn't able to pin this down, so take this with a grain of salt, that some of the images they got were from Unreal Engine and they weren't totally sure they were AI created. Like Sandfall itself wasn't completely
probably
sure.
part of the Unreal Engine library is way to create images or something.
Yeah. So anyway, Expedition 33, Clair Obscur, fantastic game. Strong recommend. Very French. And you should play it. And it still has its Game of the Year award from the real Game of the Year. So it's unfortunate because the Indie Game Awards now just look silly for doing this. And and I'm uncertain. Like the thing that the Indie Game Awards said too is they were like, well, Sandfall didn't disclose the use of the AI. And it's like, first of all, there are interviews with Sandfall from months before where they mention it. So it was not being hidden. And I'm sure probably what happened was somebody filled out like the application for the game or whatever and like checked the box that said no AI, because the vast majority of it is not AI, and there should be some kind of balancing there, I think.
Yeah, like in food, you can only have so much tiny percentage of mouse brains, let's say.
Exactly, because you can handle a certain amount of mouse brains. It's true. There's lead in Lunchables. I still eat them. Okay.
Okay, so now I would like to talk briefly about Martina Navratilova.
Yeah.
You know who she is, right?
Obviously. Martina Navratilova. There we go.
So Martina Navratilova was one of the best women tennis players ever.
Oh, okay.
She's actually my age.
Oh.
She was born the same year. And the interesting thing about her was as a teenager, she became a pretty good tennis player and started playing around the various tennis tournaments. Mm-hmm. And she was born in Czechoslovakia. Mm-hmm. The country no longer exists, but it was a communist country at the time. And when she turned 18, she decided to defect, mm-hmm. meaning she just moved out of the country, stayed in the United States, came to the United States to be free from mm-hmm. communism. And she didn't see her family for like 5 years because they couldn't get out of Czechoslovakia, and eventually, mm-hmm. I think and just to mention, I was just looking at some of the stats. So I used to follow tennis much more closely. She was, for many years, like the number one tennis player in women's tennis. Mm-hmm. That was boring because like there would be tournament, and Martina was in it. He said, okay, so she's gonna win. And she would.
Yeah.
and they have these rankings in tennis players who's number one in the world and stuff. So she was number one in the world for 332 weeks, which is like the longest time, the second longest time ever.
How many years? Like 5 years?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
And she was also she played doubles, women's doubles and mixed doubles. She was also like number one in women's doubles mm-hmm. for some ridiculous number of time. And basically, she was one of the best players from about 1974 to about 1990. Mm-hmm. Right. So what happened now? There's a website that somebody started called Home of the Brave, where people post stuff about how they are affected by the current administration. Mm-hmm. And she posted a very strong ad saying, "I left Czechoslovakia to escape communism. I'm not going to be quiet and let this stuff happen here." Mm-hmm. So I was very impressed with her. We should put the link in the notes just so people can see it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to summarize her, but she's kind of really mad. And let's see what mm-hmm. she said. This is quoting from her. "I defected from a totalitarian regime, and like hell, I'm not going to be cowed again and have to be careful about what I say. I grew up in a communist country, Czechoslovakia, so I know what it looks like and feels like to live in a totalitarian regime where you cannot speak your mind, or worse yet, be in prison for political opinions. I'm so proud to be an American, but I'm embarrassed for what Trump is doing to our country."
Nice. Yes.
So go Martina.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, send me the link, and I'll definitely put the link in the show notes so people can go watch her video. Oh, good for her. Excellent.
Oh, she's also gay. So.
Yeah. Love is love.
That's right. She's married and everything.
Yay. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, good for her. From your tennis hero to my music hero, Taylor Swift.
I am shocked.
Are you shocked? There's Taylor Swift news. So the last time we spoke about Taylor Swift, she had just released her new album, The Life mm-hmm. of a Showgirl. And I told you all in that episode, and I told you, mm-hmm. Whenever Taylor Swift releases an album, there's this immediate backlash where everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's awful. It's the worst thing. I can't believe it. It's terrible, blah, blah, blah." You know, all the drama, whatever. And then it ends up like skyrocketing and doing amazing. So I want to update you on some of the stats, and then I actually want to ask you a bit about internet bots, because there was an interesting internet bot thing related to this. So Life of the Showgirl has broken all kinds of records. It became the most pre-saved album of all time, to surpass 5 million pre-saves on Spotify, set the record for the most streamed album in a single day on Amazon Music, most streamed album on Spotify and Apple Music, and the fastest selling album of 2025 on iTunes. It had, in its first week, a global first week consumption of 5.5 million album equivalents and 1.5 billion streams. So that album equivalence broke the previous record. It sold 2.7 million copies on release day, which made it the best-selling album of 2025.
Okay.
On the day it was released. It was released in October. This is the one it broke. It accumulated 3.5 million album equivalent units in 5 days, surpassing the Adele's album 25, which had held the record for that.
Okay.
And then it ended that first week with 4 million album equivalent units, with most of those, 3.5 million of those, being pure copies. So the way that they calculate this is a little complicated because there's pure copies. How do I explain this? This was from my music law class. I got a B- in that class, so I'm going to do my best. Pure copies means like any physical version, so your vinyl, your CD, that kind of thing, but also like you purchase the download.
Right.
But streaming, like, we use YouTube Music. We don't purchase any music, but we have an account, so we still stream. A certain number of streams equals one purchase. I forget the exact ratio, but there's like a set in the industry.
I see. Okay.
There's like a set ratio. It's her 15th album, her 15th number one album on Billboard. So she's breaking a tie with Drake and Jay-Z for most chart toppers of a solo artist. She's the first artist to have every song from an album occupy the top spots on the Billboard Hot 100. So all the top spots were just Taylor Swift from beginning to end, from 1 to 12. It was charted at number 1 for 11 weeks, and it was certified 5 times platinum by the Recording Industry of America in November. It was released in October. It was certified platinum in November. So anyone out there who's like, oh, she's bad, people, that's stupid, whatever. It's like, man, look at the fucking numbers. Very, very popular.
Very Beatles-like, yeah, actually. I just watched a documentary about the Beatles. So.
Yeah, it is, yeah, very much so. She's much more like the Beatles and Elvis Presley and stuff like that than any of her, like, she doesn't really have any modern contemporaries. There's an interesting thing that happened on TikTok sort of related to this. So we're having more and more problems on the internet at large, from what I'm seeing, particularly in social media spaces, differentiating between people and bots. And TikTok is like particularly vulnerable to this because of the comment sections. And the fact that TikTok encourages you to respond to comments. So people will like make a comment and TikTok is like, respond to it with a video. So like someone will come into a comment section just like trolling, it's like making shit up or whatever. And then creators will respond with a video, and then someone will respond to that one, and then someone will use that one. And like it spreads in that way. Like that's how the algorithm encourages it. So there was this really weird push right after the album came out saying that Taylor Swift was using Nazi dog whistles in her album. Yeah, exactly. And we're all like, definitely not. This is the reason. Because she has a song called Opalite where she sings the line, "You were dancing through the lightning strikes." And she released a necklace that had lightning strikes on it. And then an Opalite. Ta-da! It's as if you wrote the song to make something commercial to sell. Who would have thought? People took the lightning strikes and like the thing and put them next to each other, and they're like, it's the Nazi SS or whatever.
Right.
So this went on for a few weeks. This reached like a fever pitch on TikTok. There was some reporting, I think, from the Rolling Stone that this was a bot campaign. I don't know, like I don't need Rolling Stone to tell me that. Like it clearly, to me at least, was like, because it was so illogical and it's like such a crazy reach that I'm like, this is either like trolls or just bots happening. So I don't know if you know anything about like, is there a way to like for companies like TikTok or whatever to like filter out bots and like
it's hard that? Because a bot is basically a program that's acting like a person, right? So I can write a program that runs on your computer, just types into the web page.
Yeah.
Right. So there's some ways, like for example, if you see there's 100 posts in a minute from a particular place, that's probably a bot.
Yeah.
And I haven't really looked at more detail how to detect it. Maybe you can use I.
Maybe you can use I. That's AI, everyone, in case you're not catching on. Yeah, so it's really interesting because the album's commercial success is huge. It got the majority of it was positive reviews, whatever, and then you get these like weird nests in the internet of like really bizarre takes that then real people latch onto. So
well, that's the whole point of doing these things. It's like you can earn money if people click on your content, right?
Right. Yeah.
So what we're finding on YouTube is a lot of popular. I mean, like your mom and I watch lots of political stuff on YouTube, and a lot of these commentators get the channels get cloned. Yeah. So they steal the audio. They do maybe click a bit of video or generate AI version of the person saying something, and we found a bunch of those.
Yeah.
That were, it's not that easy to tell. Some are pretty easy because they're clearly clones of the content, and others are just deep fakes essentially. Just
yeah. And the discernment skill of people on the internet is not necessarily very high.
Right.
So like you get stuff like the Taylor Swift stuff, and then I don't know why there's like this obsession with this section of the internet being like Taylor Swift is MAGA, and I'm like, Taylor Swift, who publicly endorsed Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and has spoken about how she hates Donald. I mean, this one, you sure? Sure, Jan? You got it?
She was trying to fool you. So.
With the fiance that advertised the Pfizer and flu shots during COVID, So it's definitely interesting to see.
Maybe in another episode, I'll talk about RSS and how you can get past the algorithms and just see the stuff that you really want using RSS readers, including YouTube. I'm not sure if TikTok publishes RSS feed.
TikTok's definitely been messing. We've all been talking about this on the internet. I look at you now, internet audience. TikTok's been messing with the algorithms recently because we've been getting, all of us have been seeing and talking to each other about, we're all getting much older videos into our feeds.
What kind?
Older videos. Oh. And we're getting repeat videos. It never used to be that they'd show you a video. Like if you like a video, it shows that you liked it, and then it goes away. Right. And normally that video would never come back into your feed, but it's been happening a lot. And we don't know what they're trying to hide, but they're trying to hide something.
Well, yeah, we'll probably have to talk about TikTok anyway, because what's happening with it, who's going to purchase it and what and how.
Who knows? Who knows at this point? But I think that's everything, right?
That's it for today. Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, hey, thanks for joining us. Sorry for the wait, but there will be more content as we continue in 2026.
Yep.
And thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See, I'm very organized. I have my topics right here.
Oh, I see. I do so many podcasts,
I know. You're a professional
I'm in such high demand. I'm just constantly telling the internet what I think, whether they want to know or not.